Hey folks, how you all doing? This is Con Over coming to you with another Company of Heroes 2 1v1. This one is going on between the blue trunked OKW forces of Tomazake and against our noble American player over here, Hazuki Watora. What is going to be the map though? Obviously if you look right here you can tell it is Kaladni Fema Winter, which means we're going to see some of the kind of standard early garrison play out of the center part of the map here. My guess is we might even see the rear echelons do their whole kind of barbed wire thing kind of going up around here. So while everyone does their initial moves, and indeed we might even see, oh no, Sturmpires are going to get to the middle part of the field, go under some incidental fire from the rear echelons, but not that much really. Interesting. Wire going out in front of the house. Let's take a look at commanders, shall we? So starting over here in the west with the USF, we have Armor Company, Heavy Cav Company, and Tac Support. And I just cast a game kind of interestingly where tac support got utilized. It was just there was P-47s in every direction, but every P-47 that hit the field, I think one made it out alive. Every other one, I think I got called in 6 times and 5 times planes went down. It's pretty incredible. Tomazake, though, he's bringing Scavenge, Special Operations Doctrine, and what I hope will be he'll use Overwatch. I think that'd be amazing for me, just because just so much fun. Just so much fun. But I sincerely doubt that's going to happen. Meeting engagement happening up between OKW and USF. Unsurprisingly, it's going to go in the favor of the USF. Those riflemen do kind of kick early Volksgrenadiers in the teeth. And it seems that the Americans were even able to take, yep, they've plopped down wire about that truck, while the Germans instead are kind of going to connect their fuel early on, and we'll get that done a good 20-30 seconds before the US does. But it seems like the both standard openings from both sides here. USF going for that triple rifleman and Tomazake going for a couple of Volksgrens and then a late Kubel. So the late Kubel might be enough to kind of harass the early rifleman play, which is really what I guess they're kind of used for. Or no, instead he's kind of being used back here for this kind of capping. Not sure why on that one. Nevertheless, we will see the riflemen are going to take out this church, and with... that was an odd decision. I would have thought Hazuki was going to lock down this church, and with that he would have been able to keep all of this infantry at bay, but he's not going for that. Instead, he's just going to connect his fuel up. And I guess that makes sense. But it does allow the Germans to retake the center part of the field, where before the US had an easy control. A little bit of rifleman firing at you, not a big deal. The STGs and the Sturmpires, as long as they're not in negative cover, it's just as, you know, easily handled, and they will take that, decap it pretty easily, and maybe even recap it for themselves. Shockingly, there's not been a lot of territory grabbing, and indeed we will see these Volksgrens are going to be able to take strategic point away from Hazuki. And Hazuki is just seemingly okay with that, which is kind of surprising. So that part of the field has become German, and indeed these Volksgrens to the north-ish, northwest-ish, are coming under fire from riflemen, but they're doing pretty well. Now, the rear echelons in this house are doing also at least a decent amount of job, a decent amount of the firepower on both the Kubel and the Volksgrens, but it's not going to be enough to keep them pushed back. And indeed, we will eventually see this group up here of Volksgrens getting forced into a retreat, probably another 1 or 2 casualties. There we go, that's 1. But they have been able to carve a good chunk of health away from Watora's forces. You see Tomazake right now is calling it, I probably would assume would be a battle group headquarters. And considering his positioning of units on this map, he's in really good shape right now. Germans are going to start overloading the northern side of the map, able to kind of, how do I put this, well, shove those rear echelons ever so delicately back to base. But no, it's just going to be a kind of hold until relieved moment here. The rifleman diving in instead. That's probably a better plan. Rear echelons really should book it back to base. They're not going to just yet, though. Also, we're going to see it's going, in fact, going to be a lieutenant coming out. Interesting. So, the lieutenant, I believe, is going to get a slight buff in the new patch. I need to double-check those notes yet again. But right now, I would say Hazuki's making the correct call. He's very much outgunned by the mobile fire positioning of these couple Volksgrens supported by the Kubel. And he's going, wow, interesting. He's going to go for Armor Company, so he's calling in Assault Engineers too. So they have the M3 grease guns? I think that's grease guns. Oops, wrong side. Having a little bit of issue right here. Yeah. There's M3 grease guns coming onto the map right now. So these guys will be good for short-range firepower, and bringing in a flamethrower as well is good to push back now the new garrisons that will be under German control. Shockingly, these riflemen are just barely inside that capture circle as well, so we could see a double cap coming out for the Americans, but no, they got to stop just shy of that. It's unfortunate right there, because it could have been a nice little neat cap out. And instead, what we're going to see, the lieutenants going into a 50 cal, and yep, it is a battle group headquarters for the Germans. And overall on this map, it is looking a little bit blue. I kind of wish right now these army comps over here would switch. I could be a little bit more on cue with what's going on here. Lieutenant's getting boiled alive, as are the other riflemen here, and Hazuki's not playing with his usual joie de vivre. Though thankfully, at the same time, while he's losing forces in the north, he is able to take back the center position. And maybe, just maybe, he's going to be able to hold on to and push back the Germans from this particular position down here. Never mind, these guys are going to get outgunned by the upcoming Strumpayos, and it's shocking to see that neither player is really playing too conservatively, and yet neither one has actually lost a unit, which is really, really surprising to me. Now, 50 caliber is being set up towards the north, and this thing, that armor-piercing round's awesome. That vet one's not going to happen for a fair bit of time. Kind of wondering if they maybe should just plop the 50 cal in here, knowing, more than likely, there's an ISG probably on the field by this point. The fact that they haven't seen... Whoa, that was weird. It was like the levitation. It was like, oh my gosh, he's getting abducted by aliens. Surprisingly enough, the Strumpires are getting cut apart by these rear echelons. Only this Kubelwagen is going to really keep things under control. Hazuki might want to consider shifting back with the rear echelons here. He's down to one right now. Don't be the squad drop. It's going to be a really, really crappy squad drop. But it seems like Hazuki's not been... There we go. He's finally getting back out of there. Never mind. He goes down, though. So Hazuki losing first blood over to Tomazake. I think it's supposed to be Tomazake, but, you know, whatever. And assault engineers are going to run right back into the firepower out of the Germans. Interestingly, we already see it's an MG34 in this house, and then the 50 cal out in the open. But there's also a mine about, 3 meters to the southeast here. Kind of funny for me. Probably will see machine gun pushed back, and I'm really, really hoping to see a German unit go into this house, because the second that happens... And just barely decapped in time. There we go. Yeah, decap. So the right front get it forced back, but not before at least taking away the German fuel supply. Very, very well done there. Are we going to see a captain come up anytime soon? No, we're not. We have seen an ambo coming out, and that's probably a good idea, considering how abused Hazuki's troops have been in recent memory. Americans are making a push. Okay, and the North riflemen are picking up a strategic point, roasting themselves by the open fire. Probably a good plan as well. And Tomazake is really not making a big shove with any of his forces. I wonder if he's trying to wait just long enough to pick up a Schwerpanzer headquarters, but I don't think that's probably the best call. And indeed, we're going to see actually a half-track coming out. The AA half-track, that thing's going to be insanely good against the current German composition. Folks, grants in the meantime are coming up towards this church. And that is another shoe mine there. Oh, this is not going to be pretty. MG34 is going... Oh, come on. Go for the house. You know you want to. You know you want to. Get in there, my friend. Because if you don't, the Americans will, and you'll never push them out. I mean, with a shoe mine right there, you might accidentally hit it, and then that'll be pretty devastating. But I really want to see that happen, actually. Rounds falling short. Shockingly enough, has not set off the mine just yet. I'm really waiting for that to happen. The 50 cal is going to do a fair bit of damage if the Germans are not careful. AA half-track is moving forward to the head of the class. This characteristic driving backwards bit going on there. I really just want to see that happen, though. Okay, so in the meantime, the 37 mil cannon is going to do a pretty good job. Going to force away the Germans from this northern garrison. And the embattled lieutenant in the meantime. Oh, come on. Somebody get in there. ISG does force back the American machine gun, but at the same token, the MG34 is going to get carved up pretty darn good. I get the feeling that neither player really wants to be inside the church, and indeed won't even go for it too often. Ooh, but this is interesting. Briquetin does get found out, so now the Americans do know there's an anti-tank presence on the field, and that's not going to be a strong position for them necessarily. 10 minutes in, we are going to see is the Americans up 100 tickets. That's kind of surprising for me. Not because the Germans have been playing poorly, but just because I'm just surprised, really. The Germans, in the meantime, have lost their fuel yet again. And while the Americans are going to start capping out, or excuse me, rather getting forced back, while the Germans are going to start capping it out again, the Americans are in pretty good position across the map. MG is back on the field. We are not going to see, I guess, a captain. I suppose that's moderately understandable. Once you get to those 8 command points, having the Wolverine is almost as good as having a legit tank force on the field. And yeah, Tomazake is going to go for that Schwerpanzer headquarters. 37mm cannon on top of the AA half-track is not, unfortunately, able to see this bad boy right there. And indeed, incendiary grenade will push back the attendant infantry. Shockingly, the AA half-track has not been shot out just yet by the Rakettenwerfer, but one more round might be enough. Oof, super close. ISG drops a round on it instead, and that's pretty devastating nonetheless. Tomazake has been forced back on top of his heels, really. 11:45 into the game, and he's down to 150 tickets. And yet, neither player is really going for the standard church opportunity, which is kind of amusing. MG, in the meantime, is he locking down? No, he's not. He's just kind of chilling. And indeed, we're going to see instead this German squad getting carved to pieces. There's just a lot of enemy firepower there. Assault engine's going to get a blast of flame off? No, they're not. They're to trip cap out for the Americans. What is going on here? Tomazake seems a little bit confused. Schwerpanzer headquarters is going up a little far forwards. Where is that bad boy? I'm seeing it going up. There we go, right along the map itself. But the 50 caliber is going to do a lot of damage, even without any real help. See that right now, the 50 cal, yeah, that thing is a beast at carving up buildings. Would consider getting out of it might be a good idea, but more rounds dropping on top of him, and shockingly he makes it away. You know, it's not easily. And the Americans are doing pretty well for themselves. Not really concerned too much with the German war machine. Please, somebody go into this house. I want to see it blow up. I want to see the church blow up. It's not that I hate God. I just want to see it blow up. But no one's doing that. It seems that that meta might slowly be dying because it didn't happen in one game. I don't know, but I would like to think that would be the case. But the Volkskrant are starting to get outscaled by the riflemen and their attendant lieutenant already. He's inside the house. He's inside the house, everybody. Kaboom. Never mind. There it goes. We are all happy and set. So Sturmpyos go down, and this Schwerpanzer headquarters, it's going to make a very, very bad day for these riflemen. I'm not entirely sure why they're charging forwards on this. There we go. Force backs. The Germans are just trying to protect their fuel income by hitting the strategic point. And with the Rakettenwerfer down in the south, can Hazuki see them? No, he can't. How about you? Yeah, he can see the other direction, though. That's not a good thing right there for Hazuki. Because if this guy gets in and around, we could see the death of this half-track. But he seems somehow they've figured it out already. He's just going to slide away. And everything's all hunky-dory yet again. 50 cal teams not want to get themselves up there again, but instead, they keep going right up the middle again and again. And the riflemen are not going to do too well in negative cover against these Volksgrenadiers, dropping one model already. Another one going down and vanishing in an ISG shot. Yeah, not particularly wonderful. Now, at this point, Tomazake is down an awful lot of tickets. A little confused why he's not being a little more aggressive about this. Even more so, we're going to see these assault engineers starting to really do a number on these Obersoldaten. Being pinned in the middle part of the field, too, is not like they're even doing anything extra. This MG should really be backing away before he gets taken out in one final hail of gunfire. And he looks like he will make it back. There he goes. Yep. Luckily indeed. Captain's on the field. That's an interesting decision. I'm not entirely sure why that was the case. I guess having the late game ability of bringing the 105 Shermans and the M10s, M10? M8? M10, would be enough to deal with what is currently on the field. And I mean, you don't often see the 105 Sherman being utilized, 100% correctly, mostly because it's those lob shots, and it's really, really great against mobs of infantry, but it's just not always great against armor. And if you have things like a pack howitzer or mortars that can do just as much damage, why would you want to go and make a armored vehicle that does exactly the same thing? I don't know. Short range incendiary grenade does go out, and will the lieutenant go down? He's all that's left. He's trying to scamper away right now, and a couple of shots going right by him, whizzing past his ears. But Tomazake continues just to not be too concerned about picking up any legitimate... What term am I looking for? Not legitimate. Any VPs. And he's down 300 tickets. Not sure what's going on in his head right now. I think he's probably just going to wait. He's going to push to take a spot or two. And then try to stem the bleeding for the time being. And this captain down here is not going to be able to keep all of this firepower away. So there we go. Finally seeing one getting picked up in the north, and then we'll get picked up in the south. Maybe not. BARs all over this rifleman. And if that's happening, those Germans are not going to be able to take an effective fight. See, right now, these not moderately leveled up Volksgrens getting carved to pieces. The Obersoldaten will do decently well for the time being, but they're not doing so wonderful either. Bundle grenade goes out, trying to cover their retreat, missing everything completely as the Americans scamper out of the way. And in the north, these assault engineers are going to try to go and push back the Germans, and will succeed in doing so, lighting their fire and really, really telling them, it is not your land, this is my land. Even for some reason we are in Russia. Finally, a P4 is going to be coming out for the OKW, but I think it's gone too late. The Americans are really kind of beefy right now, and with the ability to call in those M10s, not feeling 100% of the love for the Germans. But hey, more rounds going off and going down range. Are we going to see that? Is it going to be the 105 Sherman? No, I doubt it. In fact, I'm guessing it's going to be M10s called in galore once you see that P4. No, it's a 105 Sherman. Hooray. Interesting. Bulldozer Sherman is on the field. I never remember what these things are because it's never used. So create barrier and destroy barrier. No one ever uses those things, usually for a reason. Nice thing too is that even though he's called in the 105 Sherman, he has one other minute and he can call in the M10 as well. Actually, it's gone even less now that he gets one fuel every 1.6, 1.7 seconds. Nevertheless, those ISGs are doing work. How many kills does that thing have? 8 kills, 2 stars of veterancy. So not a god machine just yet necessarily, but as far as apparatus goes, it's doing pretty well. 105 howitzer though, excuse me, a 75mm pack howitzer dropping right off the top of that Schreier Panzer headquarters. And the Allies don't seem like they have to worry about too much. Yikes, damaged engine coming out, Panzer IV taking hits. What is underneath him? Oh, it's a BAR, so the Germans can pick that up. They might be able to turn around part of this fight. Rifle squad has gone down. Another rifle squad's gone down. Hazuki Watora just dropping a bunch of forces right off the bat here. Captain sliding forward, trying to put more pressure on the P4, and it's doing decently well. I mean, they're down a good chunk. But now this 105 Sherman not really doing 100% what he needs to be done. Okay, so P4 is still on the field, but the Germans still have to make up a huge amount of ground. There's 24 tickets left to 457. I know the Allies are taking significant losses. I don't know if this is one of those things the Germans can come back from. Now for myself, I'd be calling in that M10 so quickly it would make your head spin, so I would trade that out for the P4 any day of the week and twice on Saturday. Mostly because that P4 is going to cost way more than what I'm spending for my M10. Look, 360, 150, 390. 60 fuel, man. 60 fuel. At the German rate of income, that's a huge, huge bit. but it doesn't seem that Suzuki is too worried about that. Even losing a couple of tickets here and there. Not entirely sure why he's so sanguine, but okay, there we go. There's that M10 finally. So maybe he's just reinforcing his troops, and he just wants to call in some more at that point. Lieutenant is still running away. Okay, I guess he soft retreated, and now it's hard retreating. And now with the 105 repaired, and what might be, there we go, and here comes the M10. You can even become M10 spam if you really wanted to. So the Panther 4 is going to come in to take shots at the 105 Sherman, and the M10 announces his presence instead. Able to get a round or two off. Oof, and 2 shots taking that P4 right back down to about 40% health. And the 105 Sherman takes out the German MG34, and that's not a huge bit of damage necessarily, but still not good to be a German soldier. 105 Sherman is charging forwards. Not sure if he's going to get that last round to take out the P4. A little bit twitchy as far as indirect fire goes. M10 and the 105s are charging right through the Schwerpanzer headquarters, and not a great plan either here. But again, if he trades out for the Panzer IV, he might be able to do it. Nope, never mind. There goes the M10.
We just lost a medium tank.
And Hazuki might be going on tilt instead. Okay, captains, move forward. Captain, take that bad boy out. Okay, never mind. There goes the P4. So now things are a little bit more equal again. All the Americans have to do is just kind of attack multiple positions on the field, and the Germans can't do diddly squat about it. And 21:53 in, that might be exactly what happens. Or, never mind, I could be wrong though. Couldn't say for sure. I will say the Americans are picking up the Northern VP, and right now the Germans are dropping to barely double digits. And in fact, it's going to be single digits in just a moment here. Germans just waited way too long to come back into this one already. And so it probably looks like it's going to be a quick game between Hazuki Watora and Tomazake. And I'm very kind of surprised to see that the Schwerpanzer headquarters is still in existence. I kind of expected that the Pack Howitzer just drop rounds on top of it. 5-star veterans see Volksgrenadiers. There's a bazooka on the field now, dropped by the good captain and his troops. But the 50 cal is going to cover that down pretty hardcore. And the Germans are going to try to limp away back to home base. They will eventually just book it out of there. Probably a good plan there. New machine gun on the approach. 2-star out of the other one. And yeah, between the two, as long as this Pack Howitzer decides to turn around and really just butcher the Schwerpanzer headquarters, I don't know the Germans can get back in this one. ISG rounds are coming in. Super wounded rifleman squads are out and about. Oh no, it was the captured MG34. I thought it was another 50 cal, but no, that's the captured German MG34. So with that, I believe you're probably going to see a German defeat. Pack Howitzer rotating and putting fire down on top of the... No, they're not. Curious. Very, very curious. I would put fire on this guy back in like moments before. Meantime, Tomazake finally decides to go for the special operations, but it's not going to do any good for him. That's going to be the end, it looks like. Wait, one more ticket? Yeah, there we go. So that's it. That's all she wrote. Hazuki Watora takes out Tomazake super quickly in under 24 minutes. And really, it was just Tomazake didn't pressure any kind of VPs with any kind of effort until it was way, way too late, till he was down a couple of hundred in the meantime. Nevertheless, well played to Hazuki, maybe going on tilt a little bit later with the sacrificing of his tanks. But he pulled out the W, and that's the important thing, right? I'd say so. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you guys all next time. This is Conor Work signing off. Take it easy.